Are you a fan of The Incredible Hulk from 2008? Have you ever sat down and wondered, like, what happened about that teaser that they had at the end of that movie? Well, guess what? It only took 17 years, but your prayers have finally been answered. Here's the sequel to The Incredible Hulk without the Hulk. Captain America Brave New World. Alright, so I wasn't joking when I said this is the sequel to The Incredible Hulk, because it is, and a bit of a sequel to The Eternals, because you do have like the giant celestial in the Indian Ocean playing like a role in this movie. Well, not a role, but it is a thing in this movie. Okay, so just a brief overview of the plot before I get into the review. So the movie starts off with General Thaddeus Ross, with Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who was originally played by William Hurt, but he sadly passed away in 2002. So now he's played by Harrison Ford. And he has become the new president of the United States. And he has started off this project by which like all the countries of the world can sort of pool in and harvest whatever sort of minerals or anything that is there in the celestial, that is there in the Indian Ocean. So technically grave robbing or like stealing organs, but yay progress. So then it's like 3 or 4 months later, and we have like our opening action scene, which is something has been stolen, which is part of that project. And our hero, Captain America, like the new Captain America, Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie, is like off to bring that thing back, and you get like a nice little action scene. There's also a new Falcon played by Danny Ramirez. So there's a nice little action scene, and they manage to get the thing back. You also meet Giancarlo Esposito, who is the mercenary who's been hired to steal that thing, but he gets away naturally. And so he brings the thing back, and the president is like, "Oh, you've done a good job. Why don't you come over to the White House for like a little party or whatever?" And he's like, "Cool." So then he meets up with his sort of trainer slash mentor, Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah Bradley. Hold on, let me check. I've written this down. I keep forgetting names, so best thing to write it down. Yeah, Isaiah Bradley. So Isaiah Bradley's character was introduced, I think, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I haven't seen. But even if you haven't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's fine. Like, you're not. The movie catches you up, like in the sense that he's the only character I think that is showing up from that show into this movie. So he is the other guy who got the super serum, the super soldier serum that was given to the original Captain America. So he fought in World War II, but then when he came back, they put him in prison and they experimented on him for 30 years. So he doesn't like the government anymore. But Sam Wilson sort of convinced him, like, like it's been a long time. Why don't you sort of, come with us and, just meet up with everybody. It'll be fine. So they go to the White House, and there's like a big party, and, lots of heads of state coming in, and they're going to, sign the deals or whatever. And an attack happens on the president. And then the rest of the movie is figuring out, like, who attacked the president and who's behind it, and, blah, 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 all of that. Usual stuff.
Thaddeus Ross.
Okay, so as far as the positives are concerned, in general, the movie is nice. Okay, like the acting in across the board is good. Like Anthony Mackie is good as Sam Wilson as Captain America. Harrison Ford is really good as General Thaddeus Ross. And the best job is done by Carl Lumbly, who plays Isaiah Bradley. He's the one who has the role with some meat on its bones, so because he's sort of very resentful, and they are suspecting that maybe he carried out the attack. So, like all of that stuff is there. So he does a good job with that.
You asked for me.
There are about 3 or 4 action scenes in the movie which are pretty well done. Like you get the opening action scene, then there is one where they sort of try to replicate the stuff from Winter Soldier, and then you have like this big action scene in the Indian Ocean, and then you have like the final fight, which is there in the trailer. So I'll talk about that a little later. So action scenes are fine, acting is fine, the plot is decent. Like they're trying to do a bit of political intrigue, but it's a superhero movie. They're not. Like, it's not that deep. Like, this isn't like 3 Days of the Condor or like, All the President's Men. It's not that. It's a standard enough plot. The villains are good in general. Overall, it's a perfectly serviceable superhero movie. As far as the negatives are concerned, it's a perfectly serviceable superhero movie. Because, I mean, that's where we are with the MCU now. Because what is the problem is there's nothing memorable. Like the plot is fine, but at the end of the day, you want to have at least like one scene that makes you go like, oh wow, like I remember that. Like you can watch like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Quantum Mania, right? The movie is very average, but that one sequence where he's trying to like retrieve Kang's engine core or whatever, like that stuff is really good.
What the hell? 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 What is this place?
It's a probability storm.
Right, like that is the one scene that stood out for me. There is nothing here that stands out. Like everything is fine, you don't get bored, but like if that's all you want, this is perfectly fine. If you're expecting anything more than that, not really. Like even with like Deadpool and Wolverine, whether it matters whether you like the jokes or don't like the jokes, but the villain was pretty impressive in that, right? And like the whole effect of where she puts her hand inside the head and you have like coming out like from all various places, that is a very cool shot. Like that's probably one of the best VFX shots I've seen in a while.
You tried to kill me.
I literally have no idea.
You come for the king. You better kill the king.
Oh, welcome to the Skullfuck Club, Paradox.
This one is just like, you've seen everything. Like, I think this is the perfect movie to say, like, now Marvel has a formula, right? Like, it has there's a formula, and this movie follows that formula. And it has been executed well, but it doesn't rise above that. Like you have actors like Giancarlo Esposito who is completely wasted. Right? He has like, I think he has like 3 scenes in the movie. He does get an action scene, which is fine, but I mean, you got Giancarlo Esposito, like do something with the guy, right? Like this is just like he's there for like a couple of scenes. That's it. The main villain is fine, and I'll try not to spoil it, but if you've seen The Incredible Hulk, you kind of know who the main villain is. So yeah, like the only thing that could have worked for the movie, right? The only thing that would have been like a major twist that would have taken this film up, over the mediocrity that it is there in the poster. Is there in like every single poster that I've seen. It's there in every single teaser and trailer of this movie.
Since when were they red?
Because the thing is, like, the Hulk, when he shows up, is like a third act reveal. Right? Like, the movie gives you no indication that the Hulk is going to show up. Like, Mark Ruffalo is not in this movie. Right? So, there's somebody else who's going to turn into the Hulk. And it would have been a great reveal if it wasn't there on every single poster. And it's not like Marvel can't keep secrets. Right? Because Deadpool and Wolverine, I had no idea how many cameos were there in that movie. Right? They managed to hide everything. So when they want to, they can perfectly keep a secret. But when you know the script of this movie and you know that the Hulk is supposed to be a third act reveal, don't put him on the poster. There are other things to put on. Put the giant celestial on the poster. And it's not like that thing is going to come back to life, which would have been cool, but that's not happening. So yeah, like, so the only interesting thing and you can even figure out, even if you haven't seen the poster, even if you haven't seen the trailer, you just seen the poster and you've seen the Hulk on it, the red Hulk, and you don't know who's going to turn. But when one of the characters in the movie starts to get angry, even if you have like half a functioning brain cell, you can kind of figure out like, oh, that's the Hulk. So there's just like, I don't know why that was done. Maybe they couldn't figure out any other way to market this movie. But yeah, So, like, at the end of the day, I think what Marvel has managed to create is their first white noise movie. And also, if you haven't watched in the theater already, I'm guessing you're not that interested. Maybe the next time you're doing laundry and you want something running in the background, Captain America, Brave New World.